Well, guys, it's 2025. Whoop-de-freaking-do. No, I'm just kidding, man. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the holidays. 2024 was an amazing year for the horror genre. Not gonna lie, probably the best we got since 2022. Way better than 2023. And honestly, this year is looking pretty stacked. I cannot lie to you. So without further ado, here are some of the movies that I'm the most excited for in 2025. But starting off this list, man, I got Wolfman, the first movie of the year, releasing on January 17th. That's like in 2 weeks. Now, this movie comes right after Nosferatu and 5 years after Invisible Man. And as you know, this is basically the resurrection of the Universal monsters. I don't know if Invisible Man falls into that technical resurrection. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. But as of right now, we got Nosferatu and then we get another Wolfman. Now, there was a Wolfman that came out in 2010, and that one was pretty decent. The only thing about this movie that has me a little worried though, bro, is the fact that it's coming out in January. And anybody knows, January movies usually be kind of especially January horror movies. I mean, hey, just look at Night Swim from 2024.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Absolutely abysmal. So, could it be good? Not sure. Let's hope so. We'll see on January 17th. Next movie on this list is actually coming out February 21st, man. It's The Monkey, distributed by Neon Films, aka A24's little sister. Few good points about this movie is that it's being produced by James Wan, which is one of my favorite horror directors of all time, so seeing his name attached to a movie is usually a good sign, unless that movie is again Night Swim. This movie is another cursed object film. I love cursed object films. This movie is supposed to be about these twin brothers who find this toy monkey in their father's attic. The monkey starts killing people and they try to throw it away, as if throwing away a cursed object ever worked in a horror movie. But hey, we'll see if it works for these brothers in this movie. Trailer looks great. We shall see what this movie is talking about on February 21st. Next, man, I got Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, admittedly, the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie was not that great of a horror movie, not gonna lie to you. However, if you look at that movie from the eyes of a FNAF fan, there is a lot of appreciation behind it. Because I don't know if you remember, but when the first FNAF movie came out, there was a huge difference between the critic score and the fan score. This movie doesn't release until December 5th of this year, so damn near 2026. Why so long? I have no clue, but Hollywood does stuff like that these days. I can't keep up, man. Unfortunately though, this movie would not be rated R like a lot of people were expecting. They're still sticking with the PG-13 thing. I understand, because there are a lot of kids who like the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, my daughter being one of them. She's a freaking Freddy fanatic. And besides, they had to do a little practice with the first one. They learned from their mistakes, hopefully, so I feel like the second one might be a little bit better. I just refuse to believe they're making us wait 2 years to give us some bullshit. Next, man, I got the big dog of the bunch, 28 years later. 28 years later releases on June 20th of this year and is bringing back the original director, Danny Boyle. Not only does this movie bring back one of horror's most beloved franchises, it's finally brought the original to streaming. Fun fact, I didn't even know that these DVDs were hard to find. I actually found this in my garage. See, this is exactly why you don't throw away your physical media. After seeing how much these things are worth, no, I will not be selling it. Now, the reason why it's being called 28 years later versus 28 months later is, well, they took too damn long to make the sequel. And they're actually filming this movie on the iPhone 15 camera. Like, that's gonna be pretty interesting to see. June 20th, I'll definitely be seated for this movie. Next up, man, Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this out there. I think Bloodlines is a stupid title. That's because usually when a horror franchise throws the word Bloodlines in as a sequel title, it freaking sucks. You know, like Pet Sematary Bloodlines or Hellraiser Bloodline. You get the point. But the one thing that I can say about the Final Destination franchise is they don't really have any misses in the franchise so far. I mean, hey, even the worst movie in the franchise is still pretty decent. You know, The Final Destination, the fourth one. This movie does release on May 16th. They've done a pretty good job of keeping the plot of this movie under wraps, because I really don't know what it's gonna be about. But with a name like Bloodlines, I kind of feel like they're gonna do the typical Hollywood thing that's so popular these days, and they're gonna do something with nostalgia. Now, how they would do that, I don't know, because in the Final Destination franchise, everybody dies. So I don't know what other character they could possibly bring back. It might be the relative of somebody from one of the previous movies. That's the only way the Bloodlines thing works, in my opinion. Either way it go, I'm excited to see it. I love the Final Destination movies, and I've kind of been waiting for another one, I ain't gonna lie. Next up, man, on September 5th, 2025, we are getting the last and final Conjuring movie titled The Conjuring Last, Rites. And just like Final Destination Bloodlines, the plot of this movie has been kept under wraps pretty well, because other than the release date and the title of the movie, I don't know what it's gonna be about. I have no clue which one of Ed and Lorraine's cases they'll be following in this this movie. And honestly, I don't really want anything to spoil it beforehand. I absolutely love the Conjuring movies. Even the third one, it's okay. Plot synopsis so far is pretty vague because the most you can find is Ed and Lorraine take one more terrifying case. That's literally all you can find about it. Let's just stick with the release date and the fact that we are getting another Conjuring movie. All right, going back to our summer releases, man, I got Megan 2.0 releasing June 27th. I'm going to be perfectly honest, bro. Megan is one of those movies that as soon as it was over with, I was like, yeah, I need another one. I want another one. It set itself up for a sequel so perfectly, bro. The first one was Unhinged, the rated R version, not the PG-13 one that got released in theaters. I'm talking about the unrated one on the Blu-ray. And once again, plot details are pretty under wraps. I actually like that. I mean, even though you can kind of tell what the movie might be about based on how the first one ended, Megan definitely has franchise potential like Chucky, but I hope they don't milk it and make it stupid. Next, man, I gotta talk to my peoples, man, because we got Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan Sinners on April 18th. Now, originally this movie was supposed to release in March, I think, but I guess the release date is April now. Don't matter to me. I'm still excited to see it. What's interesting about this one is my boy Michael B. Jordan will be playing two characters. Basically, he's playing himself twice, twin brothers. If you look at the trailer doesn't really tell you what this evil is, but everybody already figured out that it's basically vampires. I think out of all the horror movies releasing this year, this might be my most anticipated one, especially because if you paid attention to all the movies on this list, outside of The Monkey, every single movie on this list is either a reboot or a sequel. But this one is a 100% original story, something that we have been begging for in the horror genre for years now. So getting an original horror film made by a black director with a black lead, god dang it, I'm sold. And it's so great that we are starting to get other black directors into horror so we don't just have to rely on Jordan Peele. Not saying he's not great at what he does, but this man cannot be the monopoly for black horror. But yeah, man, Sinners, April 18th, 2025, I will definitely be locked in. Now, the last movie on this list is a movie that is pretty interesting to me because it's actually based on one of my favorite horror video games of all time. Releasing on April 25th of this year, we are getting the Until Dawn movie. Until Dawn is a gem of a horror game. If you have not played it, please tap in. Now, here's what makes this movie so interesting. I have no clue what ending they're gonna go with, because if you played the game, you know that you can get different endings based on how you played the game throughout the playthrough, especially since if you look it up, it says that Until Dawn has hundreds of potential endings. There's a total of 22 critical choices in this game. So which ending are they gonna stick to as the one that they consider canon for the movie? I have no clue, and honestly, I hope they don't reveal nothing. But yeah, man, overall, April 25th happens to be my wife's birthday. Until Dawn, the movie in theaters, I will be locked in. But all right, y'all, those are all the horror movies that I'm the most excited for in 2025. Now, there are a lot of other ones coming out, but they just don't really pique my attention like that. But I want to hear from y'all. Y'all holler at me and tell me what movies are you the most excited for. Once again, I am Stoner the Great. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I drop. And like I always say, man, y'all stay spooky and stay tuned for the next video. You dig?